After Duolingo released its Q3 earnings report, the stock price experienced a collapse, dropping from 260 to as low as 182 in one day. A 30% decline. Is this a good bottom fishing opportunity? Let's look at Duolingo's business model first. Duolingo is currently the most widely used learning app in the world. Initially, it mainly offered language learning courses and later added subjects like chess, but language learning still remains the core. Its business model is very straightforward. Users can use some features for free, which helps it acquire users at scale. In addition, users can pay for subscriptions to unlock more advanced features, which is where the platform earns revenue. Besides that, Duolingo is, in fact, a genuine AI stock. It applies AI technology directly into the user learning process. This is a solid story, not just an AI concept. AI has indeed brought significant improvements to Duolingo's metrics. Next, let's look at the data from its earnings report. First, Duolingo's growth is astonishing. In Q3, DAU grew 36% year-over-year, MAU grew 20%, subscriptions increased 34%, and revenue was up 41%. Truly eye-opening numbers. Is this a fluke? Let's look back at Q2. In Q2, DAU grew 40% year-over-year, MAU 24%, subscriptions 37%, and revenue 41%. And the sequential quarter-over-quarter growth from Q2 to Q3 was also very strong. Not only is Duolingo growing at such a high rate, but it is also emphasizing healthy, long-term growth. For example, in the Q3 report, management stated that growth was slightly slower, partly because they posted less unhinged content on English-speaking social media accounts, as they listened to community feedback and aimed to build long-term positive brand sentiment. As long as the numbers are real, this is indeed a business growing rapidly in a very solid way. Second, Duolingo has excellent cash flow. Since it runs on a subscription model and carries no inventory, the business is basically generating pure cash. You can see this clearly from the balance sheet. This is the hallmark of a high-quality business. Third, is Duolingo expensive now? Its real PE is around the 40s. For a company with this level of growth, this valuation is definitely not considered expensive. But on the other hand, from a value investing perspective, you also wouldn't call it cheap. Finally, why did such strong earnings result in such a massive stock drop? There are one major and one minor reason. The minor reason, as mentioned above, is that Duolingo is prioritizing long-term value. Their CEO made it very clear in the report, describing the relationships among monetization, user growth, and teaching quality. Focusing more on long-term development is good, but it may slow short-term growth and revenue, and many market participants trade on short-term results. The major reason is the market's concern that Duolingo's moat may be threatened by new competitors. The key competitor is Apple, whose upcoming AirPods will have real-time translation functionality built in. Additionally, Meta's AI-powered glasses also support real-time translation. This raises an interesting question. Will people still need to learn foreign languages in the future? This is genuinely thought-provoking. On one hand, AI is driving Duolingo's growth and improving user experience. On the other hand, AI may appear to undermine the core reason for the product's existence. In abstract terms, this is a battle between two phases of AI. AI as a tool to assist humans versus AI that directly solves the problem for humans. The former is like Duolingo improving language learning efficiency. The latter is like Apple's AirPods making language learning unnecessary. We see similar discussions with Figma. It boosts designers' efficiency using AI, but could AI eventually replace designers altogether, making Figma obsolete? However, although this seems like the same question at a high level, in practice, the answer varies by field. Education, specifically language education, will not be affected as dramatically by real-time AI translation. There are two key reasons. First, education is a deeply rooted cultural system. Compared to business, it changes much more slowly. Standardized language tests such as GRE, IELTS, and national language exams will not disappear overnight simply because real-time AI translation exists. They will remain for a very long time. Second, language learning is a lifestyle choice for many middle-class learners, not merely a practical tool. I once used Duolingo to learn Spanish, and I attended an offline Spanish class. None of my classmates were learning for work or urgent real-life needs. Some wanted to understand another culture, some thought it was fun, and some simply enjoyed learning something new. Language learning is similar to reading. Most people read not because they need the knowledge, but because they find it enriching. If learning is not primarily about solving problems, then the idea of AI replacing it doesn't really apply. To me, the reason behind Duolingo's short-term stock drop is not convincing. I remain optimistic about this solid business. However, the valuation is not exactly cheap either. I may continue to observe or sell some cash-secured puts. That's all for today regarding Duolingo. If you found this interesting, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm Faye. I've been investing for over 10 years with returns exceeding 20x. I share practical, easy-to-understand investment insights based on real experience. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I share is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Please do your own research and know your risk.